The most wisdom you will get is from failing, not so much from succeeding. Because when you fail, it humbles you. It forces you to look at things in a more open-minded way. When it comes to tabletop role-playing games, there is some failure that people don't even see as failure. They learn nothing from it. They don't become humble because of it. Actually, they stay on that failed path for many, many years going forward. What are they failing at doing, but they don't realize that they are failing? When it comes to combat, faster is better. That's a better experience for combat. But when you get over to social interaction in any tabletop role-playing game, look, you don't want to take forever responding, having a conversation with someone, but there is some pausing you can do. It's a mind game. You can think a bit more than you do before you respond. You don't have to rush to respond. Don't take forever, but there's a bit of time. I see a lot of people in the hobby not using that time when it is appropriate to use that time, because so many things in a situation can be happening, right? All these little clues given out by the player in the way they're doing dialogue with the character. And the Game Master, they want the Game Master to pick up on those clues, on those hints. Now, sometimes the player should be a little bit more, forward with what they're trying to do. But if they're not, they still have an expectation that the Game Master catches onto these things. I see a lot of Game Masters, not just players, using what we call meta information. That means it's information that they know from outside of the game. Like the Game Master knows that the player had their character do this, but the non-player character coming up to that character may not have seen it, doesn't know what the Game Master knows. But here's the Game Master reacting as if the non-player character has more knowledge. Oh, you're guilty of that thing, even though all the player has done is say, it wasn't me. Makes no effort, role plays that they're staying calm and everything. And actually, they're hoping, the fact that the non-player character hasn't seen what they did, can't straight out accuse them. Maybe there's rules that need to be followed. You can't just say somebody's guilty. And all these things have been hinted at right up to that point. So the player's thinking, whoa, I can take advantage of that, right? I'll play, even though here I am in front of this dead body, I'm going to pretend that I did nothing wrong, right? I'm just going to fake it out. I'm not going to come up with some long speech. I'm going to be very clever. Like, hey, I didn't do anything, and let's see what this guy has to say, about that. But here's a Game Master having the non-player character go, no, you're guilty, I know for sure, I know you did it. In some cases, I have seen what I think are some good Game Masters making this mistake, right? Like using meta information in that way. Like, I call it cheating when you're using meta information, like, just using it without care. Like not trying to set a limit. Like, I'm one of those people that say, you're doing character creation in my game. Well, I want you to give me a 2-sentence idea of who the character is, why they're going to do what they're going to do. And then from that, I want you to stay true to that during character creation. I want you to bend to that little statement. That is the character right now, and the character's will is going to overcome anything you assume from your outside knowledge. So even if you have, real world knowledge that you want to apply here, if it doesn't apply well to who the character is, I want players to bend to the will of the character. What you have here doesn't make sense to this. This guy wouldn't use this weapon. This guy wouldn't do this thing. So no, you bend to the will of the character. That's it. I see meta as cheating. And that's, in my opinion, the same thing is happening when the Game Master is using that type of outside information in this careless way. Look, as a Game Master, understand the different areas of your game, so you know when you have more time to think, and when you go up on a situation, consider what the player is doing. It is on you to consider these things before you just jump into interaction with the non-player character, right? You are managing the game, and here's a player maybe doing something, and you might not notice it, at least right away, so it is your job to consider the situation so you can notice it, you can pick up on these things, and then you can react to them. Look, many Game Masters wish players would just say what they're trying to do and be more forward, but many don't. So your job is, where you can, to examine situations, examine what players are doing, and see if there is a hint being thrown in there of, what they want the outcome to be. You can't learn from failure if you don't know that you failed. And we want all game masters to pick up on where they're failing so they can get better at what they're doing. And we don't want players, using meta information in very careless ways. So, do what I suggested here, game masters. Make players bend to who the character is. Up front, you want something like a 2 or 3 sentence little statement on why the character would do what they're doing, who they are, like some type of essence of who the character is. And then you're going to tell the player, every one of your players, that they need to stay true to that. Don't pick things, don't put options into the character that are something that type of character, who they are, would never bother with. Like, if they wouldn't associate with that, don't make it a part of the character. Right? Get them to bend to the will of the character so you can get rid of some of that meta information or the effect that it can have on character creation and the game. And the same goes for roleplay with a character. That little setup at the start is who the character is. There's going to be some development around that. It's not going to be exactly that, but what you want to make sure is whatever the player is doing isn't so far outside of that it opposes that, who that character is. You don't want that. You want the players to stay true to that character even through the character development process as best they can. So again, they're getting rid of the effects of metagaming as best they can. Nothing's perfect, but we want to eliminate that as much as we can, because in reality, metagaming, in almost every form that you see it in a tabletop role-playing game, is cheating. Anyway, for now, take care. You know what you can do? You can hit the like button. You can share the video. Oh, and there's another button you can press. That one that lets you subscribe to my channel for more content. Oh yeah, there's that bell thing. You can press that so you know when I've uploaded a new video right away.